Hello, and welcome back to Voice Notes, my life journal where I talk things concerning a resolute mind. Welcome back, and thanks for joining in today. We are almost at the end of the series. This journey has been quite a learning and insightful experience. So, for today's topic, I'm going to talk openly about confronting myself. This is my life story. Well, not exactly, but I'm waking myself up for the story. Okay, I begin. It is pretty interesting. Life is. Because most times when one thinks of a life story, most times one thinks about the storybooks and movies and music that were curated at some point. I have thought about this a lot in my much younger years. I have thought about those characters you find in cartoons, and I always wondered to myself, can these characters feel? I know the concept of 2D, but I always wondered, what if these characters, though made up, what if they were real and had feelings as humans do? Now, I am no TV junkie, and I very rarely watch movies, but I am a lover of music, sounds, and rhythms. But in all of these creative outlets, I always wondered about the realities of such. What leads me to think this? I ask myself. I answer. I was led to think this way, for how can someone make up a character so perfectly aligned with the personalities you see every day? I am usually intrigued by how closely one's personality can match that found on TV. I mean, even down to someone's style of clothing or what they may choose to do for a regular routine. And after much reflection, I've come to some resolve. Can it be that we are all characters in this play of life? And if it be so, then I must ask myself, who am I? And what role do I play in this stage of life? Frankly speaking, I naturally have strong tendencies to hide myself away. I usually grow towards making myself small, very small, to the point of invisibility. This is how I know myself to be. I've also always been considered the quiet type, the loner. I very rarely speak, unless of course I am inside of a classroom. But outside of that, I usually find myself hidden away in the shadows of this life. Now, because of that, I've also found myself trapped and very lost in this maze of life. My quietness and silent ways work against me when it comes to achieving the tangibles, as life is all about connections and social constructs. I do not actually know what true connection is like outside of my immediate environment. And by immediate, I mean very immediate. Even though someone can talk to me, I sense the strong disconnect and gain understanding that meeting, talking, and communicating is such a bread and butter aspect of life. And herein lies the conflict. For in my past, I have associated my lack of speaking activity with my lack of importance and relevance in the sphere of the world, ultimately affecting my confidence to even speak in the first place. Why speak if no one is listening? So, I remained silent for a very long time. And in the depth of my silence, I have observed much, made to endure much, and coming out from this place, I now understand the importance of speaking. I no longer consider myself to be the ghost character in this play of life, for life itself has taught me so much more than that. Though it scares me to even mention these things, I continue to speak. My life lesson is to speak anyways. That is it. It doesn't matter whether someone hears me or they don't. Expression of self is so fundamental yet profound on all levels of life. What is bound on earth is bound in heaven, and just for this reason alone, I continue to speak. Just as the waves of the waters make that crashing sounds on the rocks, or the leaves rattle their bodies against one another, in both these cases being picked up by the wind, so should I speak when the wind grabs a hold of me to hold my lips and vocal cords to make much sound. I may not understand the full effects of making sounds with the mouth. It may not even make sense to me why effect changes on the tongue. But I now come to realize that when I do speak, it is by faith. For I go against my very grain when I open my mouth. There is some other force inside of me to utter words that I myself did not plan to utter. Though my lack of speech has gotten me in trouble on numerous occasions, I gained the confidence to know and believe that the lips, the tongue, and breath are not just some mouthpiece, but an instrument of prayer and one of power. This is what my father taught me that I am now sharing with you. In my childhood, and even in growing up, it has always been my great desire to teach. But how can I if I don't even want to open up my mouth? Indeed, I have been once called the mute, not to mention standoffish. I hold much a reserved disposition in appearance. It is from this dilemma I am more certain of my true calling. I am student teacher, more so guide. I'd rather be identified as teaching assistant. I love learning and really enjoy sharing the lessons learned along the way, and I would not have it any other way. I've been deeply inspired by the teachers who have already crossed my path and who I hold deep admiration for. Speaking for me then is not just a talking piece. It is a useful equipment to get my points across. What stands out now is that I need my teacher, who is my father, to help my mouth to move so that I can indeed talk. It is not by flesh that I speak. It is by spirit. And I respect that. These talking exercises have infused in me much confidence to speak up, to find resolve in speaking up even more in the special circumstances when I believe that no one is actually listening or even wants to hear, and to continue to speak as I listen to the Spirit speak. And I rest my point here. Just a few more videos left in the series, almost there. Thanks for listening and hope to see you again. Until next time. Adios!